Okay, Friday, I'm in, good mood, piss off mood, or maybe in a good mood, who knows? Maybe this guy could calm me down. We're gonna talk about, you can't see his face because his video don't work. So what we'll do is just do an audio. So you can see me in there in the corner. Okay, and we're gonna have a little chat. What time is it? All right. So, and you are?
Bruce Fitch.
And you are?
Best Minister of Social Development, MLA for Riverview.
And you're the one that's going to cut off my welfare check after this.
What? No, I wouldn't do that.
Best minister we ever had. I'm not kissing ass. I'm stating the facts. Madeleine Dubé was good also. Anyway, focus. You announced change. What kind of change are we going to have?
Well, we've had a number of different reforms for social assistance, and I could list them. I know, or unless you just want to talk about the one I did the other day, but we've done things like allow people to keep up to $500 if they choose to go to work, and their check won't be clawed back. We've also reduced the amount of the clawback on the housing shelter, or I guess that's called, where if you're, again, your check was reduced if you were living with a parent or something like that. And the third one, which was really big, was if you're receiving child support payments, we're not going to claw back your SA check.
And what about the checks? We only got 10 minutes. What about the checks of people living together, living under the same household? What's going on there?
Yes, and that was the big announcement we made the other day, and this should positively affect about 2,000 people here in the province, where roommates can now apply for SA individually. Before, if you had 2 or 3 people living in the same apartment or house or whatever, they had to apply as an economic unit, as one household. So now they can apply as individuals. So it addresses a number of different things. And again, going along the reforms that we put in place, this is just another one. And it's probably going to be an additional $4 million into the hands of people on SA.
So what kind of people are we talking about? If you're shacked up as a couple, will you be allowed to have 2 different checks?
You're going to be assessed on a unit basis if you're married, or if you're living common law. Again, you can apply and you can be assessed on, but you'll be assessed as a unit.
So you can't have 2 different checks if you sleep together.
I think you'll just have one.
Okay.
And it'll be coming into the household, and it'll be different if you were living alone.
So things hasn't. So if you have two person on welfare, and they decide to live together, social development could raid the place at 8 o'clock in the morning and see one bed and say, "Aha, we got ya."
Well, I don't think they'll go to that extent, but it's sort of like any government form, whether you're doing your taxes or, they'll ask the question, are you married, common law, single, widowed, divorced? And people will be, again, expected to give a truthful answer and be assessed based on that information.
So what does this mean? Living, they won't be bothered anymore. They can still receive their ordinary check living under the same household. What kind of people are we talking about here?
Well, there's a number of different scenarios. Maybe it's an individual who's aged out, turned 21 and is living with their parents. And the other option, again, it would be, let's say there's 2 friends that want to live in the same unit, or if they're even a brother and a sister maybe, decide they want to share accommodations. This it's not a housing initiative, but given the number of issues and the tight rental market we have, this might allow some other options from a housing standpoint that would help people cope with the high rents and the not very many apartments available.
How's your gas tank?
Oh, my gas tank. I used to just put $50 in, and then that's, it was one of those things where I didn't fill the tank. I just put $50 in. And, you're having to go back more and more to put that $50 in.
So everything is going up, and bureaucrats from social development going after seniors that's going to turn 60, force them to remove their check. Certain seniors be allowed to keep a few bucks out of that?
Now, if I change that, what are you and I going to talk about?
Oh, don't worry. There's lots of things to talk about. Don't worry about that. Like prisoners to be put at the Holiday Inn after their release. Stuff like that. But
right on.
No, but I mean, okay, that issue I'll tackle you in March. But the thing here, one thing that I'm really concerned of, and I've been talking about it a lot. Once this mandate is over, in the future, if a person is not vaccinated, will they be allowed in an old folks home to visit?
Some of the protocols, and I'm just thinking because I'm not sure if they've made that decision. I mean, public health are the ones that are kind of making some of the rules, but some of the homes themselves are actually, going above and beyond to protect the vulnerable population, to protect the seniors. So they're not asking for vaccination proof, but they're still asking people to put on PPE and just limiting the amount of visitors in to the two, say, designated caregivers or designated visitors. So they are trying to keep the population safe.
Why not pass a law? Why not pass a bill saying if you're not vaccinated, you're not allowed to visit your loved one in no folks home because of it could spread to others.
Yeah, passing legislation on something like that would be a bit overreach or a bit heavier-handed than I think would be necessary, because I think it could be handled through policies and procedures, because it would change, as time wears on, as the immunity within the community grows. That may, having it in legislation, it's harder to put in place and harder to repeal. So I think doing it with policies and procedures for public health would be an easier way to do that.
So if you live in a rooming house and you're having a relationship with whatever, keep having that relationship. Don't live together if you're on welfare.
So I'm not sure what you mean by...
Well, if you live in a rooming house and then suddenly you meet somebody, well, okay, then you decide to take a room together. That's not a good idea. You will lose your welfare check.
Well, and again, I encourage people to, if there's changes in their circumstances, with respect to address or arrangements, they need to
and the economy
be in touch with their caseworker and see how that's going to affect them. Before they make any dramatic changes in their situation.
Because you see couples and you see what's the connection